In this lecture, we are going to go over chapter 4, which is on extrude and revolve. Here is an intro to the chapter. So once we complete the chapter, we'll continue to review our basic modeling techniques, learn and review how to sketch on planar surfaces, which are just the faces of the model. We're going to add dimensions, add geometric relations, use extrude boss/base. We are going to use extrude cut, and we are going to learn how to use revolve feature. So this is the only thing that's new in this chapter so far, and we're going to utilize fillets and use chamfers, which in the previous chapter we used fillets but not chamfers. And we're going to create 4 components in this chapter. And we're going to use these components to assemble in a later chapter when we learn assembly. All right. So here are the 4 components that we are going to create. And the problem says that we're using the ANSI drafting standard, and we're using inches with a precision of 3 decimals. And here are all the commands that we'll be using in this example. All right. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to go to Solidworks and we're going to open up a new part. So let me share my Solidworks screen. All right. Share. Okay, let me just make sure I'm sharing. Okay, so for the SolidWorks, we're in SolidWorks now, and if your home tab isn't selected, just click the home up here, and we're going to click part because we want to create a new part. And the first thing we are going to do is format our units. So we're going to go down here in the status bar, click IPS, then click Edit Document Units. Then we're going to go to the drafting standard and change it to ANSI. We're going to click Dimensions and make sure there's a precision of 3 decimals, and then go to Units and make sure this is 3 as well, and IPS inches. And then we're going to click OK. The first step of the problem is to sketch the first profile on the front plane. So click on front plane, click sketch. Then we're going to go up here in our command manager and click straight slot. If your straight slot isn't selected, you can click the down arrow and then click straight slot. We want our first point to be coincident to the origin. So click on the origin once you see the coincident symbol in yellow. So click and then drag, move your mouse, to the right and click again. And then move your mouse up and click for a 3rd time. And then we just created our straight slot. Now we're going to add dimensions and relations and 2 additional circles. So let's do that first. Add or click the circle command, then actually I'm going to hit escape so everything's deselected, and now I'm going to hit the circle command, and we want the first point to be in the center of this edge here, so or the center of this arc. So in order to see the center point of the arch, all you have to do is hover over the arc to wake up the center point. And so now you can see the center point is visible, which is just the origin. So click in the origin. And then we want to wake up the center point for this arc. So all you do is hover over it. And now you can see the 4 quadrants of the arc, or 3, because there's no 4th one over here. And so hover over it and the center point, which is right here, and click. All right, then hit escape. And it's always good practice to add relations first. So I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard and click these two circles here and add the equal relation check mark. Now I'm going to add dimensions. So click Smart Dimension, and the dimension from here to here is 1.25. The dimension of this arc is 0.5. And the dimension of this circle is 0.325. All right, and we can see in our status bar it's fully defined. So we can move on to extruding our first solid. So click the Features tab, click Extruded Boss/Base. For our extrude option, we're going to use midplane, which is going to equally extrude the solid from the sketch plane. Our sketch plane this time is the front plane. So from the front plane, which is this center black line, there'll be equal distance this way and equal distance that way. And the total distance will equal what you put in your depth parameter. So the depth is going to be 0.75. Click, and then check for OK. Now we are going to create the boreholes. So we're going to select this planar face of the solid. So click there and click Sketch. If your normal isn't, if your solid isn't going to normal, which is just where it goes to the face that you're drawing on, you can hit Control-8 on your keyboard to do that. So now we're going to click Circle command, and we're going to draw it inside these circles. So hover over the edge of this circle, and to wake up the entities, you can see the 4 quadrants, top, right, bottom, and left are now awake, and we want to do it in the center point. So click the center and draw that circle. Same thing over here, hover over the edge of this hole, click on the center point and draw the circle. We're going to add equal relations. So hold Control on your keyboard and click this circle. This one was already selected because it was in that light blue color. So you can see that these two arcs are selected, and we're going to add an equal relation. Click check. Right, and then we want to add the smart dimension to one of the circles of 0.5 inches. All right, and you can see both change to this diameter because they have the equal relation. Now we are going to go to the Features tab and do an Extruded Cut. We're going to do the blind condition, and we are going to use a depth of 0.5 inches, and then click OK. And then instead of rotating this and doing this all again on this planar surface, we are going to use the mirror command, which allows us to mirror this pre-existing feature on the other side. And we have to specify a plane. So we want to use the front plane because it's in the center, and mirror this feature on the other side. So we're going to hit in the Features tab, go to Mirror. For the face, we are going to use this drop down right here, and this will have everything we see in the Feature Manager design tree. So we're going to use the feature we want to mirror is this cut or extrude, or oh, sorry, the mirror face plane is the front plane. And then the feature we want to mirror is this cut extrude. And you can see a preview on the other side. Then click OK. And if I click my wheel on my mouse and drag it to the left, I can see the back side of my part, and you can see that it mirrored to the other side. All right, now we're going to add another cut. So we're going to create a new sketch on this top face. So just click this and click new sketch and hit Control-8 on your keyboard if you need to make this normal to our sketch, make the view normal to our sketch. We are going to add center lines first. So next to the line command, click the arrow and click center line. And from the midpoint of this line to the midpoint of this one, that will be our first one, and then hit escape to end the center line command. We're going to do that again. So from the midpoint of this to the midpoint of this. All right, now we have the center lines, and we want to use these center lines to mirror what we're doing. So if we want to mirror something while we're drawing, we're going to use the dynamic mirror. And I always like to use my search bar up here, but you can go to Tools, Sketch Tools, and then Dynamic Mirror. That's one way to access it. Or you can use this search up here. So make sure that it's the command is selected. It's this icon here, or you can click the down arrow and click Commands. So search commands and then start typing dynamic. Okay, dynamic mirror here, and you can click the eye to show where it is in the tools, or you can just click dynamic mirror. All right, and it says, oh, we need to select a line that we want to mirror about. So we're going to click this center line here. And now our dynamic mirror is on because you can see these two lines right there. So we're going to go to click our corner rectangle command and just approximately draw it. Click once there and then click again there. And you can see that it automatically mirrored the rectangle while we're drawing. So we're going to click check. I'm going to hit escape to deselect my rectangles. Now I'm going to add a collinear constraint. So hold shift or control on your keyboard, click this line of the rectangle and then click this edge here and then select collinear and then check mark. And then I'm going to add a symmetric constraint so that the rectangle lies in the center of this part. So I'm going to hold control on my keyboard again, click this top line of the rectangle, click this horizontal center line, and click the bottom line of the rectangle and hit symmetric. And then check mark. And then the last thing we're going to do is add 2 dimensions. So click smart dimension. And from this line to this line is going to be 0.23. And then the height of this side here is going to be 0.3. Enter. All right. And now we are going to do a through all cut. So go to the Features tab, click Extruded Cut. And then for direction, you're going to click through all. So the cut goes through the entire part and click OK. And there you go. The last thing we're going to do for this component is add fillets. So we're going to go to the fillets and chamfers. So we're going to first do the fillet. So click fillets. I'm going to change the parameter, the radius parameter first, and this is going to be 0.032. And then I'm going to click in this box to select the items that I want to fillet. So we're going to fillet everything except these holes in the center. So just start clicking the edges, and you want to do the tangent propagation so that it will, if you click one edge, it will click all these edges that are tangent to that edge you selected. Okay, so click that one. We're going to click the tops here. All right, I have 8 edges selected so far, and then I'm going to rotate so that I select this one here and the inside. All right, and then rotate using my wheel to the other side. Click this edge and, oh, this one here. All right, I think everything's selected that we want. Okay, cool. And then we're going to click OK. And then we're going to add the chamfers. So go to the fillet arrow, or the arrow under fillet, and click chamfer this time. And we're going to still use the same 0.032 depth for the fillet, the chamfer. And we're going to add 4. So click this one, and then you want to click this one right here, okay, where the item's being inserted. Same. Oh, I accidentally selected the face, so I'm going to right click the face and click delete because I want to delete it from my selection. Click there, clear, then rotate around and click this one. And then click OK. And then you are going to save this. So do Control S on your keyboard to save, or click the icon up here. And you can just save it as your, this is going to be the double link. So whatever you want, you can just save it as double link. And then click save. Also for your second lab, you are going to take a screenshot of the mass properties. So just click this evaluate tab and then click mass properties. And you can use, I'm going to search my apps and use the snipping tool, enter. All right, where is my snipping tool? Oh, it's loading. All right, not sure why that's not popping up. Here it is. Okay, so here's my snipping tool, and I'm going to click new and just take a picture or screenshot of this box right here, and file, save as, and this is going to be your lab. So you can name this your username underscore M2 lab 2. Okay, and then save that. And this is going to be what you're going to submit for the lab. Okay, and then exit out of the mass properties. And then I'm going to close out of that part and then open up a new part. And so part, okay. And we're moving on to the first subcomponent, the alignment pin. And we're also going to learn how to use the Revolve feature. So in our feature manager tree, we're going to click on the right plane and click sketch to create a 2D sketch on the right plane. And then we're going to sketch this profile that the book gives us. So click line. And again, in parametric modeling, which is what Solidworks is, it's a parametric modeling software. We draw the shape and then we add the size using, relations and constraints, opposed to AutoCAD, where you actually define the size while you're drawing the part. So we're going to click the origin here, move our mouse to the right, and just approximately draw this shape that we're given. All right. And then I'm going to move my mouse slowly so that it's aligned with the origin with that dotted blue line you see. So click once you see that dotted blue line, and then click again, escape. All right, now we're going to add in the dimensions. So go to Smart Dimension. The distance, the overall distance from here to here is 0.6. Click this line here, and this is going to be 0.15. This left line is 0.25. The distance from here to here is 0.115. And then the distance from this top line to this bottom line here is 0.158. And then you have to add in the angle dimension here because this one's like, this is blue and undefined because I could move this angle down or up here. So to add that angle, you're going to click this slanted line and then this horizontal line and move your mouse over here and click. And we're going to add a 59-degree angle, enter. All right. Oh, and we're still missing one. So to check, if I click the line and move it left and right, I can see what's missing, and the length of this line or this line is missing. If I add one dimension here, it will automatically, define this one as well. So I'll add a smart dimension, and for this line here, the dimension is 0.425. Enter. All right, now we're fully defined, and we are going to add our revolve. So when we use the revolve feature, we need to use something to as our axis of revolution. So we're going to add a center line, click center line, and then from the origin, just draw this like about there. And we're going to revolve this profile around this center line. So we'll go to Features tab, Revolved Boss/Base, and it automatically added the line 9, the center line, as the axis of revolution. If there is none, just click on the center line there, and we want to use blind in 360. If you lower it, it will actually create, a hole in your revolution. So I'm going to change this back to 360 there. And then click OK. And the last step for this one, or the alignment pin, is to add the chamfers. So we're going to go to click under fillet and add chamfer. And let's see here, the depth is going to be 0.0032 and angle is 45. And we're going to select these two edges there for the chamfer and click OK. And then we're going to save. And this is going to be the alignment pin. Make sure to be saving these because you're going to use this for a future assignment when we learn how to do assemblies in Solidworks. All right. So now that we saved this, I'm going to exit out or close out of this part, and we're going to do new again, part, okay. Make sure everything is the same, drafting standard, ANSI, dimensions, 0.123 units, 0.123, okay. All right, so we're gonna start a new sketch on the front plane, click front plane, click sketch. The origin, we're gonna draw the part on this quadrant right here, so click the line and just start sketching. All right, and then we are going to add these dimensions here. So from here to here is 0.59. Then this is 0.25. This one right here is 0.15. And this line is 0.11. All right. And so we can see it's fully defined. We're good to go. But for a revolve, we need to add an axis of revolution, which we're going to add a center line for that. Click the origin and then draw a horizontal center line. Escape. All right, and then we'll go to the Features tab, click Revolved Boss Base, and blind revolve type with 360-degree rotation or angle, and then click OK. And then the last step for this one is adding the chamfer. So under Fillet, click Chamfer. We're going to do the same thing as the last one. So click this top edge here and this bottom edge, and 0.032 inches, 45 degrees, and we are good to go. Click OK. We are going to save this part as the pin head. Click Save, and then exit out of this part. All right, and then we're going to draw the last and third, or last subcomponent, which is the third one, the single link. So we're going to open up a new part again. We're going to edit the document settings. So drafting standard is ANSI, dimensions 0.123, units 0.123, inches IPS, click OK. And we're going to click on the front plane, sketch. We're going to do the straight slot command, so click straight slot, and we're going to click the origin, move our mouse to the right, and move our mouse up to draw the slot. Then we're going to click Smart Dimensions and add from this point to this point is going to be 1.25, enter. And then from this line to this bottom line is going to be 1, enter. Okay. We're fully defined there, so we're good to go. And we're going to go to the Features tab and do Extruded Boss / Base. For our extrude type, we're going to use the mid-plane extrude type again with a depth of 0.75 inches. And then we're going to click OK. Now we're going to sketch the recess profile. So we're going to create a new sketch on this surface here, this face. So click the face and click Sketch, and hit Control-8 on your keyboard if yours doesn't automatically rotate to the normal view of the sketch. We're going to use the circle command, and we're going to hover over this edge to wake up the center point in quadrants. Click on the center point, click, do the same thing over here, click. Okay. We are going to add, I'm going to hit check to the circle command, hold Control and click this circle as well. So hold Control. If one of yours aren't selected, select the other one. You want these two arcs selected here, and we're going to add an equal relation, check, and then hit Smart Dimension and add a diameter to the circles of 0.02 inches, enter. And that's just going to make it slightly bigger than this arc right here. Okay. And then we're going to go to the Features tab and hit Extruded Cut. We're going to do the blind option. And for the depth, we're going to do 0.235 inches. So click outside there and click OK. And then instead of drawing the two circles again, we're just going to use the mirror command to mirror the cut extrude feature. So go to mirror in the Features tab. There's also a mirror in the sketch as well, so you can sketch mirrors or features. So click mirror, and the mirror face / plane is going to be the front plane. So you can hover or just move your mouse over these, and you can see it shows you which one. The front plane is the plane we want. the feature, make sure cut extrude 1 is selected, and then click, if it's not selected, make sure to right click and clear selection, or just click on cut extrude. Okay, and then okay. Now we need to add holes to these to create holes inside. So we're going to create a new sketch. So click this space here and click sketch. Now we're going to draw 2 more circles. So hover over the edge to see the center point. It's the origin. Same over here, hover over the edge, click the center point. Click check, and then hold control and make sure both of these circles are selected. Add the equal command. Then we're going to add a dimension. So smart dimension 0.325 inches. Enter. Now we're going to cut the hole. So go to the Features tab, click Extruded Cut. We're going to do through all, right? And then click OK. All right, and the last step is to add fillets. So we're going to do the fillet command twice. Click fillet, and we are going to select these edges here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then rotate 7 and 8. All right, and then the radius will be 0.1, and click check mark. And then we are going to add fillets to all of these edges besides this one right here in the inside. So we're going to click fillet. For our radius, we're going to do 0.032. And then we're going to start selecting. So select this one here, this one, this one. All right, the holes. So yeah, there should be 5 on this side. And then we're going to rotate to the other side and do those same 5. So this one, not the inside there, this top one here, the circle or the hole, this hole, and then this edge. And then click OK. I'm going to hit Control-7 to put this in the isometric view. And we're done with this part, and we are going to hit save. So this is going to be the single link. And we have drawn all of the components needed for this assembly, the link assembly, which we'll do later on in the semester. So make sure to save that. And that is all for the chapter.